Saturday afternoons on Maple Avenue were supposed to be invisible. Errands, traffic, and faces that blurred together. Maya's fingers ached around the plastic handles, digging into her palms as she crossed the parking lot, 3 heavy grocery bags bumping against her legs. The winter sun sat low and bright, reflecting off windshields, turning everything into a pale, humming glare. She heard the squad car before she saw it, the low growl of the engine rolling up behind her, slowing when it shouldn't have slowed. Tires whispered against asphalt. Maya's shoulders tightened. "Hey, you." The voice cut across the air like a snap branch. She stopped. The bag swung slightly. A carton of eggs shifted against a loaf of bread. Maya turned to see the officer step out of the car, hand resting casually on his belt. His gaze skimmed over her brown skin, the simple hoodie, the cheap canvas sneakers she wore when she didn't want anyone to know who she was. "You planning to pay for all that, or is this one of those community discounts?" he asked, his smile thin and poisonous. Laughter flickered from a nearby couple. Someone slowed their cart to watch. Heat crawled up Maya's neck, but her voice stayed level. "I have my receipt." "Sure you do." He extended his hand, palm up, like a judge waiting on proof of innocence. "Because people like you never steal, right?" The word slid under her ribs, precise and cold. As Maya reached slowly into her pocket, the store doors hissed open behind her, and she saw the security cameras swiveling toward them, recording the moment that would change everything. Maya's fingers were still numb when she stepped off the curb. The grocery bags cut into her skin, dragging at her shoulders. The plastic stretched white from the weight of rice, milk, canned tomatoes, all the small things that kept other people's kitchens running. Her own supermarket, her own shelves, her own inventory. And she was just another woman in a hoodie, crossing a parking lot that smelled like exhaust and old rain. "Just one more stop," she murmured, shifting the bags. "Then you can go home." Head down, she followed the faded crosswalk lines toward her car. The winter sun flared off the squad car's windshield as it turned into the lot. She didn't look up until the sound changed, the smooth roll of the engine slowing, idling, staying with her. Maya's breath shortened. "Keep walking," she told herself. The car crept closer. The engine cut. A door opened behind her. "Hey, you." The word hit between her shoulder blades. She stopped because she knew what happened when you didn't stop. The bag swung. A cereal box thumped against her thigh. She turned. The officer was taller up close, pale-eyed under the brim of his cap. His badge caught the light. His hand rested loose on his belt, just far enough from the holster to look casual, just close enough to say he didn't have to be. "You planning to pay for all that?" he asked. "Or is this one of those special programs?" Maya blinked. "Excuse me." He stepped closer, nose wrinkling as if the air had changed. "You heard me. I've been sitting out here for 10 minutes. Didn't see you go in. Suddenly you're walking out with half the store. So which is it? Forgot to pay, or you think you're owed?" People were looking now. A woman pushing a stroller slowed. A teenage boy paused near the cart return. 2 men near a truck stopped loading lumber. Maya felt their eyes like extra hands. "I went in through the loading entrance," she said, steady but quiet. "With staff." "Staff? Huh?" His mouth twitched. "You on the clock?" "Didn't see a name tag." "I don't have to explain my groceries to you," Maya replied. He laughed, a short, disbelieving sound. "See, that's the thing. You do. You fit a description." There it was, the line that always arrived with the same stale breath. "What description?" Maya asked. "Female. Hoodie. Dark pants. Brown skin. Carrying bag that probably aren't Hayes." He tipped his chin at her. "Step over here." She set one bag down carefully so the eggs wouldn't crack. "I have a receipt." "Then this be quick," he said. "Show me." Her hand shook slightly as she reached into her pocket. It was an old reflex, the tremor that came when blue lights flashed in rearview mirrors, when uniforms stepped in front of exits, when questions were asked like accusations. "It's just paper," she thought. "He'll see. He'll walk away." The paper caught against the seam. Her fingers fumbled. The officer sighed loudly, eyes flicking toward their small audience. "Hurry it up. Some of us work for a living." Heat prickled behind her eyes. She pulled the receipt free and held it out. He didn't take it. "Read it," he said. Maya stared. "You can read it." "I said read it." His gaze was flat. "Out loud." Her throat tightened. "Why?" "So everyone hears whether you're lying." The world seemed to narrow around the crumpled strip of paper in her hand. The parking lot sounds faded, replaced by the thud of her pulse in her ears. She saw the stroller, the boy, the men by the truck, no one moving closer, no one stepping away. She unfolded the receipt with slow fingers. Maya Johnson. She read, "Customer." His brows lifted. "Name sounds familiar. We had a Johnson last week who tried to run off with a cart of meat. Any relation?" "No," she said. "You sure? Maybe it's a family habit." Something inside her flinched. "You're out of line," Maya said softly. He smirked. "You're out of your neighborhood." The words landed heavier than his hand would have. She felt the old anger rise, hot and sour, fighting with the cautious logic that had kept her alive all these years. Behind her, the automatic doors whooshed open. Cold air spilled out. She looked past the officer and saw the security cameras above the entrance, tiny red lights blinking, lenses pointed straight at them. How many times has this happened here? She wondered. In my store. On my property. The thought steadied something in her. "Officer," she said, lifting her chin, "either cite me or let me go. But I am not going to perform for you." His jaw clenched. The casual hand on his belt shifted. "You think this is a performance?" he asked quietly. "Lady, you're already on stage." He took a step closer, close enough that she could smell coffee and mint on his breath. "Because people like you," he said, voice low, "always think the rules are optional." Maya held his gaze, fingers tightening around the receipt until it crumpled. "People like me pay your salary," she replied, "and you don't even know it yet." Above them, a camera turned, zooming in, catching his face and his shaking hands, quietly preserving the moment for people she hadn't met. Maya didn't let her hands shake until the office door clicked shut behind her. The hallway outside buzzed with the usual Saturday chaos, cartwheels rattling, customers talking, scanners beeping. But inside the back office, everything felt too still. The fluorescent lights hummed faintly. A stack of paperwork leaned sideways on Carla's desk. The air smelled like old coffee and printer toner. Carla spun around in her chair the moment Maya stepped in. "Hey, what happened out there?" "Lewis just called me from the front." Maya set the bags down slowly, as if putting weight on the floor would keep her from collapsing. She didn't speak yet. She couldn't. Her breath still felt thin. Lewis entered through the security door, tablet in hand, jaw tight. "We pulled the footage," he said. "All angles. Audio, too." Carla stood. "Maya, sit, please." But Maya stayed standing, fingers curled against the edge of the desk. "Did everyone see?" she asked quietly. "The customers." Lewis swallowed. "Quite a few." Carla's voice softened. "Look, whatever happened, this is your store. We protect you. Just tell us." Maya exhaled shakily. "Officer Turner stopped me in the lot. Accused me of stealing. Made me read my receipt out loud." Carla's eyes widened. "He made you? What?" Lewis muttered a sharp curse under his breath. "That guy again. I swear he looks for reasons to." "Don't say it." Maya cut in, voice flat. "Say it and it becomes real." Lewis shook his head. "It is real." Carla set a hand on Maya's arm. "You okay?" No, Maya pressed her lips together. "But I will be." Lewis tapped his tablet. "Do you want to watch the footage? Or should we just archive it for evidence?" Maya hesitated. "Show me." He mirrored the feed onto the office monitor. The screen filled with the image of her, small, carrying bags, shoulders tense. The officer stepping out, the smirk on his face. The moment her body stiffened. The moment the crowd slowed. Carla flinched. "God, this is humiliating." Maya's throat tightened. It was meant to be. Lewis scrubbed through the audio. "Read it." Officer Turner barked from the speaker. Carla winced. "He said that? Out loud? In front of people?" Maya nodded. He wanted witnesses. Lewis muttered, "Well, he's got them. And cameras. And audio. This is solid." Maya backed away from the screen. "I thought blending in was safer." "You shouldn't have to blend in," Carla said fiercely. "This is your store. They should be thanking you for keeping half this neighborhood fed." Maya didn't respond. She stared at the image frozen on screen, herself caught mid-expression, humiliation written across her face. She hated seeing herself that way. Vulnerable. Small. Lewis cleared his throat. "You want me to report it to corporate security?" She shook her head. "Not yet. Let's document everything first. Chain of custody. Timestamps. Make sure nothing disappears." Carla leaned forward. "Maya, you know I support you. But are you sure you want to take this on? They are going to push back. Hard." Maya closed her eyes briefly. "If I let this slide, I'm telling every employee, every customer, that what happened to me is normal, acceptable. I built this company to give people dignity. I don't get to opt out now." Carla looked at her with something like pride. "Okay, then we do this right." Lewis nodded. "I'm preparing a secure folder with the footage. Locked, backed up, and watermarked. No one's tampering with this." Maya rubbed her forehead. "Thank you. Want something to drink?" Carla asked gently. "Water?" Maya exhaled. "No, I just need a minute." But the minute never came. A knock rattled the door. A young cashier, barely 19, poked her head in. Ms. Johnson? There are reporters outside." Maya's stomach sank. "Reporters? Already?" The girl nodded nervously. "Someone posted a clip. It's on social media. People are talking out front." Lewis snapped his gaze to Maya. "That video was from someone's phone. Not ours. Ours hasn't left the system." Carla shook her head. "This is spiraling." Maya pressed a hand to her chest. "I didn't want this to go public yet." "What do you want to do?" Lewis asked. "Stay quiet for now," she said. "If we speak too soon, the narrative gets away from us. If we wait too long, it still gets away from us." Carla sighed. "There's no winning with the public. Just truth and noise." Maya forced herself to focus. "Lewis, export the video clips to a secure drive. Carla, send a message to all department heads. Nobody talks to press. All inquiries go to corporate." Carla nodded. "Done." "And you?" Lewis asked softly. Maya swallowed hard. "I'm filing a complaint with Internal Affairs. Today." Carla froze. "Are you sure?" "That's intense. They'll dig for anything to discredit you." "Let them dig." Maya's voice hardened. "But they are going to address this. The right way." Lewis raised an eyebrow. "You're not going to tell them who you are?" "No," Maya shook her head. "Not yet. If I reveal it now, they'll say I'm using power to bully them. If I stay anonymous, the case stands on evidence, not status." Carla stared at her. "Maya, that's risky." "Existing while black is already risky," Maya said quietly. Silence filled the small office. Heavy. Real. Finally, Carla reached across the desk and squeezed Maya's hand. "Then we'll stand with you." Lewis nodded fiercely. "All the way." Maya's eyes softened. "Thank you. Both of you." She picked up her coat, smoothing the fabric with slow fingers. "Let's lock everything down. Then I'm going to the precinct." "Do you want someone to go with you?" Carla asked. "No," Maya straightened, grounding herself. "If I go alone, it sends a message. I'm not afraid of them." Lewis watched her with concern. "Just be careful. They protect their own." "I know," Maya said, "but I protect the truth." She opened the office door, and the noise of the store washed over her. Customers talking, scanners beeping, carts rolling. Ordinary life continuing as if the world hadn't tilted an hour ago. Maya stepped into it with steady breaths, each one measured, each one preparing her for the fight ahead. As she walked toward the employee exit, she murmured under her breath, "This ends here." Then she pushed the door open and stepped into the cold afternoon, carrying not groceries this time, but purpose. The precinct lobby smelled like burnt coffee and old carpet, 2 cents that clung to the walls like worn-out wallpaper. Maya paused just inside the entrance, pulse picking up as a heavy glass door swung shut behind her. Officers chatted in clusters near the front desk, their laughter echoing under the fluorescent lights. She tightened her scarf around her neck. "You're here for a reason. You have evidence. You belong in this building as much as anyone." But the moment she stepped forward, she felt eyes skim over her with casual, practice assessment, the kind of glance meant to categorize and dismiss all at once. The desk sergeant didn't look up when she approached. He scribbled something on a clipboard, chewed his gum loudly, and sighed as if speaking to her would be a chore. "Can I help you?" he asked without meeting her gaze. "Yes," Maya said, steadying her voice. "I'd like to file a complaint against an officer." The sergeant finally raised his head. His eyes flicked to her hoodie, her face, her brown skin. Then something calculating clicked behind his expression. "What kind of complaint?" "Harassment, racial profiling, abuse of authority." He blinked, unimpressed. "Those are serious claims." "They're supported by video," Maya said sharply. That made him freeze for half a second. "Video? High-quality security footage. Multiple angles. Audio." His gum paused mid-chew. Before he could respond, a familiar voice cut through the air from across the room. Well, look who's here." Officer Blake Turner stepped out of a hallway, arms crossed, swagger in his stride. The fluorescent lights picked up the faint smirk on his face. "You lost, or did you forget something from the store?" he asked. Maya felt heat rise up her spine. "I'm here to file a formal complaint." Blake laughed. Actually laughed. "About earlier? Lady, that was nothing. A routine check." "You humiliated me," Maya said. He shrugged. "I asked you to show a receipt. If that's humiliation to you, maybe that says more about you than me." Two officers nearby snickered. One whispered, another one pulling the race card. The other replied, "It's trendy now." Maya kept her eyes on Blake. "You abuse your position." He stepped closer, lowering his voice just enough to seem private and just loud enough for the others to hear. "You should be careful with accusations like that. People who make false complaints can get charged." Maya didn't flinch. "Nothing about my complaint is false." His jaw ticked. "You really want to do this?" "I already am." The desk sergeant cleared his throat, clearly wishing he were anywhere else. "Internal matters are handled by internal affairs. Have a seat. I'll see if Officer Patel is available." Maya nodded and walked to the chairs lining the wall. Blake lingered near the desk, eyeing her with a blend of annoyance and curiosity, as though trying to decide whether she was a threat or just a nuisance. After what felt like an hour, though the clock said 12 minutes, a woman in a crisp navy suit approached. "Ms. Johnson." Maya stood. "Yes." "I'm Officer Patel with Internal Affairs," she said. "Let's step into my office." The door closed behind them with a soft click. Patel gestured for Maya to sit. Her tone was professional, steady, and, unlike the others, neutral. "Tell me what happened." Maya inhaled slowly. "Officer Turner stopped me in the supermarket parking lot, accused me of theft without cause, forced me to read my receipt aloud in public." Patel raised a brow. "Read it aloud." "Yes, as if proving I existed lawfully." "Is there video?" Patel asked. "Yes," Maya said. "Clear video from multiple cameras, stored securely." "I'll need a copy." "You'll have it," Maya replied. Patel leaned back, fingers steepled. "Ms. Johnson, I'm going to be honest. Complaints of racial profiling are not uncommon, but they are hard to substantiate without evidence. Security footage, though footage with audio, changes things." Maya forced her voice not to shake. "He treated me like a criminal. For buying groceries." "Did he physically touch you?" "No," Maya said, "but he weaponized humiliation. He used his authority to create a scene." Patel nodded slowly. "That's also power, and abuse of it matters." A knot loosened in Maya's chest. Someone, finally, was listening without smirking or rolling their eyes. Patel clicked her pen. "I'll need your statement on record." Maya nodded. I'm ready. For the next several minutes, she recounted every detail. Blake's tone, his accusations, the crowd watching, the false reading of the receipt, his final line. People like you think the rules are optional. Patel wrote swiftly. Did he mention a previous suspect with your last name? Yes. That's discriminatory insinuation, Patel murmured. Maya exhaled. Hearing it named felt like validation. Once the statement was complete, Patel looked up. Ms. Johnson, once we receive the footage, we'll open a formal investigation. I can't promise the outcome, but I can promise procedure. Thank you, Maya said. She stood to leave, feeling both steadier and exhausted. As she stepped into the lobby again, Blake was leaning against the wall, arms crossed, waiting. That was fast, he said. Did she give you a sticker for being brave? Maya brushed past him. Enjoy your confidence while it lasts. He snorted. Lady, I've been doing this job 12 years. Complaints come and go. Nothing sticks. Especially not this kind. She stopped, turned slowly. This one will. His grin faded for just a second, just enough to show a crack. As Maya pushed open the precinct doors, she heard one officer murmur behind her. She's wasting her time. IA won't do anything. Another replied, They never do. But the cold air outside felt different, not like defeat, but like the beginning of something heavy shifting. Maya pulled out her phone and texted Lewis. IA complaint filed. Prepare video transfer. Lewis responded instantly, already ready. Whenever you say. She typed back, Tonight. The wind stung her cheeks as she walked toward a car, but her steps felt anchored, deliberate. She wasn't done. She was just getting started. AB Sunday morning. The world had already changed, just not in the way Maya planned. She woke to the vibration of her phone buzzing across the nightstand, then buzzing again, then again. A dozen notifications stacked on top of each other. For a moment she didn't move, still lying beneath the blankets, staring at the pale light leaking through the curtains. Then she reached for the phone. The first message was from Carla. Call me. Urgent. The second was from Lewis. The video leaked. Not ours. Someone else recorded it. Maya sat up fast, blanket falling to her lap. Her heart drummed in her ears. She opened the third notification. A stranger's post. This just happened at Maple Avenue Supermart. Under the caption was a blurry 27-second clip filmed by a teenager in the parking lot. Maya recognized the shaky angle immediately. The camera had caught the moment she stopped walking, the officer stepping out, the beginning of the confrontation. But the clip ended before she read the receipt. Before the worst part. Her stomach twisted. Incomplete truth is still a lie. She tapped the comment section. Hundreds of reactions. People arguing. Some outraged. Some dismissive. Some vicious. Typical. One wrote, She's obviously hiding something. He did nothing wrong. Yet another example of systemic racism. Cops need to be held accountable. This is why trust is broken. Thousands of views, then tens of thousands. Her face, visible but not yet identifiable, was being dissected by strangers who had never met her. Her phone buzzed again. Lewis calling. She answered, voice low. I saw it. Lewis exhaled sharply. It's everywhere, Maya. Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, even local news accounts reposted it. She pressed a hand to her forehead. How did someone post it so fast? Probably filmed it during the confrontation. A kid. His username says he was waiting for a ride. The algorithm picked it up. Of course it did. Outrage was the internet's favorite currency. Maya, Lewis continued, reporters are showing up outside the store asking if the woman in the video works there. They think she's an employee. Maya closed her eyes. What did anyone say? Nothing. Carla told everyone to stay quiet, per your orders, but they're not leaving. Maya forced herself to breathe slowly. Where's the footage from inside the store? Locked? Secured? Backed up. Only you, me, and Carla have access. Good, she said. We released nothing yet. Lewis hesitated. But Maya, the narrative is half told. If we don't show the full angle. Not yet, she repeated. Everything must go through legal. One mistake and the whole thing unravels. He sighed. Okay, but people are demanding answers. They'll get them, she said softly. Just not today. She hung up and dialed Carla next. Carla picked up on the first ring. Maya, sweetheart, you okay? No, Maya said, but I'm awake. Carla's voice felt gentler. It's bad out here. Reporters, customers taking pictures, people whispering. They're guessing your identity. Maya rubbed her temple. How close are they? Not close yet. The hoodie helps. The angle helps. But once people realize you go through that entrance often, Carla trailed off. It won't stay hidden. Maya looked around her quiet apartment. Framed photos, neat stack of business documents, the life she carved from scratch. How long until they figure it out? A day, Carla said softly. Maybe less. A sharp knock sounded on the store door in the background. Carla hissed under her breath. Another reporter. I swear they smell conflict like blood. Lock the office, Maya said. Don't let anyone back there. Not even senior staff. You got it. Maya hung up and sat still, fingers pressed against her lips. Her anonymity, her protection, was slipping through her fingers like sand. Her phone buzzed again. A voicemail from an unknown number. She didn't bother listening yet. Instead, she pulled up her laptop and opened a news site. There it was, front page of the local section. SU Pierremont incident sparks debate, racial profiling or routine check. Underneath, a still shot from the viral clip. Maya, mid-turn, Officer Turner stepping forward. She clicked the article. Comments flooded the bottom, thousands deep. Some were sympathetic. But many tore into her image, her expression, her body language, her silence, every split-second decision she made trying to survive humiliation. As if survival had camera cues. A notification popped up, an email from her corporate communications director. We need to prepare a statement about the incident at the Maple Avenue location. Please advise on your preferred messaging strategy. Maya almost laughed. They didn't know she was a woman in the video. Not yet. Her phone rang again. Unknown number. Then another. She turned it face down. A text from a local community group flashed across her screen. We saw the video. We're holding a town hall Tuesday about police misconduct. Would you be willing to attend or speak? Maya inhaled sharply. Speak? As who? A victim? A business owner? A symbol? Her identity wasn't just slipping out. It was being pulled from every angle. She typed back, I'll let you know, then stared at the message, unsure whether she had just made a promise or opened a door she couldn't close. She got up and paced her living room. This wasn't supposed to happen, she whispered. She wanted the truth out, but she wanted it controlled, documented, delivered through channels that kept the story intact. But the internet didn't care about truth. It cared about noise. Her phone rang again. Carla this time. Carla. Maya. Carla paused. Something in her voice made Maya's chest tighten. The teenager who filmed the video posted again. A follow-up. What kind of follow-up? A clearer angle. And Carla swallowed. He hashtagged your store. People online are now asking if the woman is an owner, employee, or customer. They are tagging your corporate pages. The room tilted slightly. So they're looking for me. Yes. How long do I have until they find out? Hours, Carla said quietly. Maybe less. Maya's breath left her in a slow, painful stream. She had wanted justice. She hadn't asked for fame. She definitely hadn't asked to be dissected by strangers searching for a narrative that fit their worldview. But now she didn't have a choice. The story was out of the bag. And if she didn't take control of it soon, someone else would shape it for her. What do I do, Carla? Maya whispered. Carla's answer was soft but sure. You speak, Maya, in your own time and your own voice, because silence will only let others define you. Maya closed her eyes, tears pricking behind them, not of fear, but of exhaustion and resolve. Then I guess, she said quietly, it's time to stop hiding. The boardroom on the 14th floor was usually where Maya felt the most at home, a place of control. strategy, vision. But today, as she entered with her tablet tucked tight under her arm, she felt like she was walking into a battlefield. The long glass table reflected the faces of 10 executives, some anxious, some irritated, some unreadable. The city skyline glittered behind them, but the room's tension dimmed everything. Carla and Lewis were already seated near the door, quiet, alert, avoiding eye contact with anyone who looked ready to attack. Graham, the chief operating officer, cleared his throat as Maya sat at the head of the table. "Let's begin," he said, fingers laced. "Maya, thank you for coming on short notice." She nodded once. "You said it was urgent." "It is." He tapped the projector remote. The viral clip appeared on the wall. Frozen mid-frame, Maya, weighed down by grocery bags, the officer stepping toward her. A murmur rippled across the table. Graham sighed. "This video is circulating everywhere. Reporters are calling hourly. Customers are asking for statements. The police union has issued a preemptive comment calling the officer professional and condemning misleading online outrage." "Of course they did," Carla muttered. Maya kept her jaw steady. "What is the board position so far?" "We need clarity," said Diane, the chief risk officer. Her glasses slid down her nose as she leaned in. "First, is the woman in the video an employee?" "No," Graham answered. "Not that we confirmed." A couple of executives exhaled, relieved. "But we need to be careful," Diane continued. "If the public believes this happened to a staff member, we might be pressured to issue statements, take stances, or—" Maya cut in sharply. "Why is that a bad thing?" The room fell silent. Diane blinked. "Well, because neutrality protects us. We don't want to alienate customers or city officials, especially not law enforcement. We rely on their cooperation for security partnerships." Lewis shifted in his seat. "So we're worried about upsetting the people who cause the problem." "We're worried about protecting the company," Diane said. "Emotion should not dictate policy." Maya felt heat in her throat. Emotion? A woman was humiliated in front of my store for simply carrying groceries. "We understand that," Graham said carefully, "which is why we're asking, what exactly happened? You know more than you've told us." All eyes turned to Maya. Pressure closed around her like a fist. Before she could speak, another executive, Martin, head of public relations, leaned forward. "Public perception is unpredictable right now. If we take a stance without knowing all the facts, we risk backlash. If we say nothing, we also risk backlash. So we need direction." Lewis couldn't hold back anymore. "Direction? Release the full footage from the store. Show the truth. Show what really happened." Martin lifted a hand. "Absolutely not. That footage is corporate property. Once it's out, we lose control of narrative, editing, framing, context." Maya turned toward him. "Narrative is already out of control." "Yes." Martin shot back, "and releasing internal footage could make it worse." "Or better," Maya said. He pressed his lips together. "Or catastrophic, if it turns out the woman in the video is someone of importance." Maya inhaled deeply. Here it was, the moment she had been circling for days. "Before I answer anything," she said quietly, "I want to know something." She scanned their faces. "What do you believe your responsibility is? To the truth or to optics?" Diane bristled. "Optics are part of protecting truth." "No," Maya said. "Optics are part of protecting comfort." That shut Diane up. Graham sighed. "Maya, please, talk to us." She looked down at her hands. Her fingers trembled slightly, so she folded them under the table. "At the moment," she said, "the public believes this happened to a random black woman shopping at the store." "Which is unfortunate," Martin said gently, "but we can distance ourselves without escalating the situation." Maya lifted her eyes, sharp and unwavering. "And what if I don't want to distance myself?" Confusion flickered across his face. "Why wouldn't you?" Carla sat straighter. Lewis held his breath. Maya drew in slow air, filling the silence with anticipation. "Because," she said in a steady voice, "the woman in that video is me." The room froze. Graham blinked. Diane's jaw dropped. Martin's pen slipped and hit the table with a sharp clatter. What? Diane whispered. That's not. Are you serious? Maya nodded once. I entered the store through the employee entrance, wearing casual clothes, running a personal errand. Officer Turner saw me leaving with groceries and assumed I was stealing. Shock rolled across the room like a cold wave. Martin's voice cracked. Maya, why didn't you tell us sooner? Because I needed to file a complaint without my identity influencing the process, she said. And because I wanted to see how this board would respond to the injustice before knowing it happened to me. Graham leaned back slowly, eyes wide. My God! Diane pressed her hand to her forehead. This changes everything. Does it? Maya challenged. Or does it only change how seriously you take it? No one spoke. Carla finally broke the silence. Now do you understand why she wants a statement? Lewis nodded fiercely. For the customers. For the employees. For everyone watching. Graham swallowed hard. Maya, what do you want the company to do? She straightened in her chair. I want the company to release a statement acknowledging what happened, condemning racial profiling, and supporting a fair investigation. Martin started wringing his hands. That could anger law enforcement. Law enforcement angered me, Maya said coldly, and the community, and anyone who saw that video. Silence fell again. Then Graham nodded slowly. Put it to a vote. One by one, hands lifted, some reluctantly, some firmly, some trembling. The statement passed, 7-3. Maya exhaled, the weight of days lifting just an inch. Graham leaned forward. Maya, if you reveal your identity publicly, it will shift the entire narrative. Are you ready for that? She stared at the frozen image on the projector, the moment of humiliation, etched forever. No, she said softly, but I'm ready for justice. The auditorium was already packed when Maya arrived, rows of folding chairs filled with families, elders, teenagers, workers in uniforms, and people who looked like they had carried stories for years without anyone to hear them. The hum of voices created a low, vibrating tension in the air, like a storm about to break. Carla walked beside her, giving gentle updates. They got local activists here, pastors, teachers, council members. She lowered her voice. And 3 reporters pretending not to be reporters. Maya pulled her hood up instinctively. Are you sure I should be here? Yes, Carla whispered, because the story isn't just about you anymore. Maya said nothing. The auditorium lights buzzed faintly overhead. People were fanning themselves with programs that read, Town Hall, Accountability and Community Safety. Lewis met them near the stage steps. You came. I said I would, Maya replied softly. You sure you want to sit in the audience? Yes. I need to hear what they've lived through. Lewis nodded but didn't hide the worry in his eyes. Just be ready. This won't be gentle. It wasn't. The moderator, a woman in her 60s with a voice that carried decades of both patience and fury, stepped up to the MIC. Thank you for coming. Tonight is about truth, and truth is rarely comfortable. A murmur of agreement swept through the room. The first speaker, a teenage boy, adjusted the MIC nervously. I get stopped walking home from school, he said. Every time. They say I look nervous. I'm nervous because they stop me. A few people clapped softly. His mother, seated in the front row, dabbed her eyes. Next came a middle-aged man in work boots. 3 months ago, Officer Turner pulled me over. Said my taillight was out. It wasn't. I filmed it. He told me filming was aggressive. Someone in the back shouted, Same thing happened to me. One story poured into the next. A teacher accused of loitering as she waited for an Uber. A grandfather handcuffed for matching a vague description. A college student detained because he walked too confidently. Each story slammed into Maya like a wave. This wasn't about one officer. It wasn't even about one incident. It was a pattern, a system, a wound everyone had learned to dress quietly. Carla squeezed her arm. You okay? No, Maya whispered, but I need to keep listening. Then the moderator stepped forward again. There is also a video that has sparked much of tonight's turnout. The projector flickered to life, and the 27-second viral clip appeared on the screen. Gasps rippled through the audience as Maya watched herself frozen in humiliation, standing there with bags digging into her palms. "That woman," the moderator said, "has not yet been identified, but she represents all of us." People nodded, clapped, murmured. Carla gently touched Maya's shoulder. "It's time," she whispered. Maya stared at the screen, her own small figure dwarfed by the wall behind the stage. Her pulse hammered. Her throat tightened. Her palms felt cold. But the moment was no longer avoidable. She stood. A few people turned. Then more. Whispers spread like electricity. "Is that her?" "It's a hoodie. She looks just like—" The moderator froze mid-step as Maya walked toward the aisle. Carla followed, steady as a shadow. Lewis trailed behind them, silent and alert. By the time Maya reached the aisle, every eye in the auditorium was on her. She climbed the stage steps slowly, each one a seismic shift. When she reached the podium, she lowered her hood with trembling fingers. A hush fell so complete it felt like a held breath. Maya gripped the edges of the podium. Her voice shook at first. "My name is Maya Johnson." Gasps, whispers, recognition dawning. "I am the woman in that video." The room erupted, not with applause, but with a rush of emotion, shock, anger, sympathy, disbelief. The moderator gently raised her hands, urging everyone to settle. Maya waited, and when silence returned, she continued. "I wasn't sure I would speak tonight," she confessed. "I didn't want to be a symbol. I didn't want my pain to become entertainment. But watching all of you share your stories, the stories no one believed, the stories people dismiss as exaggerations, I realized mine is the same story." Her voice steadied. "On Saturday, I was profiled in the parking lot of my own supermarket. I entered through the employee door, dressed casually, carrying groceries I purchased, and an officer decided that a black woman with bags must be a thief. A woman in the second row muttered, 'Of course he did.' Maya continued, 'He forced me to read my receipt aloud, in public, like a child proving she didn't cheat on a test.' A man near the back whispered, 'Humiliating.' 'Yes,' Maya said softly, 'it was. And I want to be clear, nothing I did provoked it. I did not raise my voice. I did not refuse. I existed, and that was enough for him.' The room simmered with shared outrage. 'But there's something else,' Maya said, swallowing tightly. 'Something I haven't shared publicly.' She hesitated. Carla squeezed her shoulder. Lewis nodded. 'I own the supermarket where this happened.' The room exploded. Shouts, gasps, stunned disbelief. People turned to each other, hands flying to mouths, eyes widening. The moderator leaned forward. 'You own it.' 'Yes,' Maya said. 'The store, the lot, the building.' 'Lord,' someone whispered. 'And still,' Maya said, voice firming, 'I was treated like I had no right to exist in my own space.' Silence fell again, heavy and trembling. 'When the officer looked at me,' Maya continued, 'he didn't see an owner, or a businesswoman, or a leader in this community. He saw stereotype. He saw guilt before innocence.' An older woman near the front wiped tears. 'We've all been there,' she said. Maya nodded. 'That's why I'm here. Not because I'm special, but because I'm not. What happened to me is what happens to so many of us every day, without cameras.' A man lifted his fist. 'Say that.' 'So,' Maya finished, 'I am standing with this community, and I am asking for accountability, not just for me, but for everyone who has been silenced, dismissed, or humiliated.' The applause didn't start as claps. It started as a rumble, a rising wave. Then it broke into thunder. People stood, raised hands, shouted her name. Some cried. Some hugged each other. Some looked like a weight had finally been acknowledged. And for the first time since the incident, Maya felt something new settle inside her chest. Not fear, not shame, but power. Officer Blake Turner sat stiffly in the internal affairs interview room, arms crossed, jaw tight. The walls were bare, the lighting cold. A camera blinked red in the corner, recording everything. The metal table between him and Officer Patel looked like a line drawn in chalk, thin, but undeniable. Blake clicked his tongue. Is this really necessary? I already filed my report. Routine check, nothing more. Patel didn't look up from her file. Your report conflicts with video evidence. He scoffed. Video evidence? You mean that chopped-up clip online? Lady, social media isn't evidence. Patel finally lifted her eyes, steady and sharp. I'm referring to the store's internal security footage. Full angles. Full audio. Blake's smile faltered. That footage hasn't been released. No, Patel said, but we have it. He blinked once, too fast. Patel slid a tablet across the table. Let's start by reviewing your narrative. Blake's jaw clenched. My narrative? Yes. You wrote that Miss Johnson was behaving suspiciously, appeared nervous, and was attempting to conceal items. That standard wording, Blake snapped, fits the situation. Patel tapped the tablet. The video began playing. Maya walking calmly across the lot, adjusting her bags, head down. Nothing furtive, nothing nervous. Blake's throat bobbed. Looks straightforward to me, Patel said. No concealment, no flight, no erratic behavior. He leaned back, irritated. She used the employee entrance. That's suspicious. Patel raised a brow. Not if she had permission. She didn't say she had permission. Did you ask? Patel counted. He opened his mouth, then closed it. Patel hit another button. The audio played. His voice echoed in the room. People like you think the rules are optional. Blake's face reddened. That's taken out of context. Context. Patel repeated calmly. The context is that Ms. Johnson presented a receipt, complied with your instructions, and you still escalated. He shifted in his seat. I was following protocol. Patel's tone didn't budge. Which protocol instructs officers to demand customers read receipts aloud in public? Blake's mouth opened, closed, opened again. He had no answer. Patel set a pen down. Officer Turner, we've also reviewed your prior stops. In the last 18 months, you detained or questioned black residents at a rate 5 times higher than other officers in your district. That's a coincidence, he snapped. That neighborhood has higher. Higher what? Patel said quietly. Higher crime or higher black population? Which statistic guided your behavior? He glared. You're twisting this. I'm reading your record, she replied. It twists itself. He slammed a palm on the table. You're trying to ruin my career over a misunderstanding. Patel didn't flinch. Your misunderstanding has sparked a public investigation, national attention, and a formal complaint supported by indisputable video. Blake leaned forward, voice low and hostile. She's milking this. You know that, right? These types always do. Patel raised a hand sharply. Stop. Right there. The temperature in the room dropped several degrees. Patel's voice turned colder. This interview is recorded. Your language is reflecting bias in real time. I urge you to proceed carefully. Blake swallowed, sweat beading at his temple. Patel closed the file. You will be placed on administrative leave pending outcome of this investigation. Turn in your service weapon and badge at the front desk. Blake's face drained. You're kidding. I'm not, she said firmly. His voice cracked. You can't do this. The union. The union is aware, Patel said, and the chief has approved this measure. Blake stared at her, betrayed. The chief? He signed off on this circus. Patel nodded. Yes, the department has come under public scrutiny. They are expected to act responsibly. He sat back heavily, eyes darting. This is political, he muttered. She's making this political. Patel leaned forward. This isn't political. It's accountability. Her words landed like a hammer. Blake dragged a shaky hand through his hair. She's nobody, he whispered bitterly. Just some woman who... Patel interrupted with a quiet force more devastating than shouting. Ms. Johnson is not some woman. She is the owner of that supermarket. The world seemed to freeze. Blake's mouth fell open. What? She owns a business, Patel said. The location you claimed she attempted to steal from. No. Blake blinked rapidly. No, that's impossible. She was wearing normal clothes. Patel stared at him, expression blank. Are owners required to dress a certain way? Or did you simply assume she couldn't be one? Blake's breathing turned erratic. Why? Why didn't she say something? She did, Patel said, when she told you she didn't owe you a performance. Blake pressed shaking hands to his face. This is bad. This is really, really bad. Patel gathered her paperwork. Yes, Officer Turner, it is. Meanwhile, across town, Maya sat in a quiet conference room at her lawyer's office. A stack of documents lay in front of her. Her attorney, Ms. Harper, a woman with steel in her eyes and precision in her voice, explained each step. Once we file this notice, Harper said, tapping a form, the city is legally obligated to preserve all evidence and prepare for potential civil action. Maya nodded slowly. I'm ready. Are you prepared for the backlash? Harper asked. Online and offline. No, Maya admitted, but I'm prepared for the truth. Harper allowed herself a small, respectful smile. Good, because the truth is on your side. Maya exhaled shakily. The community meeting helped. Hearing their stories, it reminded me why I can't back down. Good, Harper said, because when you stand, others stand too. Her phone buzzed on the table. A text from Lewis. Sources say Blake was pulled into IA this morning. Something's happening. Maya read it twice, then set the phone down. She didn't smile. Not yet. Justice wasn't victory. It was process. Harper stood. Shall we file? Yes, Maya said quietly. Let's begin. Back at the precinct, Blake walked down the hallway like a man moving underwater. Officers glanced at him with a mix of curiosity and unease. The front desk sergeant cleared his throat awkwardly. Turner, Chief says you need to hand over your weapon. Blake didn't speak. He unholstered his gun slowly, almost reverently, as if surrendering a piece of himself. And the badge, the sergeant added softly. Blake removed it from his chest, stared at the metal for a long moment, then placed it on the counter. It made a heavy, final sound, a sound Maya would never hear, but a sound that would echo in the city for days. The City Hall hearing room felt heavier than any courtroom Maya had ever seen on television. Wooden benches creaked beneath the weight of community members, activists, reporters, and officials. Cameras rolled silently from the back of the room, their red lights blinking like watchful eyes. A long table with microphones stretched across the front, one for each party called to testify. Maya stood near her attorney, Ms. Harper, breathing slowly, palms pressed against the fabric of her blazer. Carla and Lewis sat in the front row behind her, offering quiet nods of encouragement. You ready? Harper whispered. No, Maya admitted, but I'm here. That's enough. The hearing began with a sharp rap of the committee chair's gavel. This proceeding will review allegations of misconduct involving Officer Blake Turner. We will hear statements from the complainant, legal counsel, internal affairs, and the officer in question. A low murmur rippled through the room. Officer Turner sat across the aisle, his uniform replaced by a plain dress shirt. He looked smaller without the badge, his shoulders hunched, eyes darting everywhere except toward Maya. Patel from Internal Affairs was seated beside him, her expression unreadable. The chair continued. We will begin by reviewing the relevant footage. The lights dimmed. A large monitor flickered on. First, the bystander's viral clip played. Shaky, blurry, incomplete. The crowd shifted, some leaning forward, others shaking their heads. Then Patel stood. For the full picture, we will now view the complete security footage provided by the supermarket's internal system. The second video began. Clear, wide angle, with crisp audio. Maya watched herself walk across the lot again. But this time, the world saw what the internet hadn't. The officer's body language, the tightening of his jaw, the mocking tilt of his head, the exact moment the humiliation began. Officer Turner, you planning to pay for all that? Or is this one of those special programs? Maya, excuse me. Turner, you heard me. Gasps rippled across the room. Someone muttered, "My God!" The footage continued, the forced reading of the receipt, the derisive laughter from the officer, the line that had seared itself into Maya's memory. "People like you think the rules are optional." A woman in the audience covered her mouth. A man shook his head angrily. Reporters typed furiously. Then the cameras inside the store showed Maya entering lawfully, speaking briefly to an employee, choosing her items, paying at the register. Everything Blake claimed, disproven in seconds. When the video ended, the lights rose. The silence was thick, bruised. The chair spoke softly. "Thank you. Ms. Johnson, would you like to make your statement now?" Maya stood. Her legs felt heavy, but her voice found its strength. "I never wanted to be here," she began. "I never wanted attention or headlines or hearings. I wanted to buy groceries and go home." A few people nodded quietly, but when Officer Turner confronted me, he didn't see a customer. He didn't see a person. He saw guilt before innocence, suspicion before humanity. She glanced briefly at Blake. He stared at the table. When I walked out of that store, I walked out of a business I built from scratch. A business that supports hundreds of employees. A business I own. The room erupted. Cameras clicked. People gasped. Whispers spread like wildfire. Blake's eyes finally lifted, shock flashing across his face. Maya continued. "When I told him I didn't owe him a performance, he didn't hear me. When I handed him my receipt, he didn't see me. And when he forced me to read it aloud, he wasn't verifying a purchase. He was asserting dominance." Her voice trembled, not with fear, but with memory. The humiliation didn't end when the incident ended. It followed me online, into my workplace, into my home. It followed me in comments, articles, threats, and arguments from strangers who didn't know my name. She took a steady breath. "But I'm standing here because the truth matters. Not just my truth, our truth. The truth of every person in the city who has been profiled, dismissed, or degraded for simply existing." Harper gently touched her elbow, signaling she had delivered enough. But Maya wasn't finished. "And I'm here because silence will be easier, but justice is not easy." She sat down. The audience applauded, not loud, but long, like a collective exhale. The chair nodded. "Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Officer Turner, you may respond." Blake rose on shaking legs. His voice cracked on the first word. I never meant for things to go this far." Patel's eyebrows twitched. The committee leaned forward. "I was doing my job," Blake continued. "I thought she looked suspicious." The chair asked, "Suspicious how?" Blake tugged at his sleeves. "She used the employee entrance. She had a lot of bags. She wasn't dressed like someone who..." "Like someone who what?" The chair pressed. Blake faltered. "Like someone who owned a business." A long, stunned silence followed. Patel's voice cut through it. "Officer Turner, did you know the owner of the store is not required to wear formal clothes?" Blake's jaw tightened. "No. Did you assume Ms. Johnson was not the owner?" "Yes, I guess I did." "Based on what?" He said nothing. His silence filled the room louder than words. The chair spoke gravely. "Officer Turner, your assumptions display explicit bias, exacerbated by the language used during the confrontation." Blake's shoulders sagged. Patel handed over her findings. "Given the footage, the inconsistencies in his report, the pattern in his stop history, and the results of our investigation, Internal Affairs recommends suspension without pay, mandatory buyer's retraining, and reassignment away from public-facing duties pending further review." Reporters scribbled wildly. Community members nodded. Some whispered, "Good," others, "Finally." Blake didn't speak. He simply stared straight ahead, as if the ground beneath him had disappeared. The chair turned to Maya. "Ms. Johnson, your civil notice has been received by the city. Negotiations will follow. We commend your courage in coming forward." Harper nodded respectfully on her behalf. The gavel struck once more. "This hearing is concluded." Outside City Hall, sunlight hit Maya's face like a cleansing breath. Cameras swarmed. Microphones rose. Questions flew. "Maya, do you feel justice was done?" What would you say to other victims of profiling? Will you sue the department? What message do you have for the officer? She held up a hand gently. I will speak when the community needs me to. But today is a beginning. Carla hugged her tightly. You did it. Lewis wiped a quiet tear. I've never been prouder. Maya exhaled, letting the tension drain from her shoulders. Later that evening, she walked through her supermarket slowly. The beeping registers, the hum of freezers, the laughter of employees, everything felt familiar and new at once. A little girl waved at her from aisle 3. My mommy said you're brave. Maya knelt to the child's level. I'm just someone who told the truth. The girl grinned. That's brave. Maya smiled softly and continued walking. She stopped beneath one of the security cameras that had caught everything. For a moment, she closed her eyes. It hadn't erased the trauma. It hadn't erased the pain. But it had given meaning to it. She whispered to herself, we keep going. And she did. She walked forward, not as a symbol, not as a victim, but as a woman who turned humiliation into change and built a path for others to follow.